Okay, and welcome. Let's see, who do we have here today? Check out this chat. All right, let's say what's up to K West. What's up, bud? K West in the house. All right, K West and Carol. Welcome, Carol. Lisa Marie Presley in the house. Lisa Marie Presley, ladies and gentlemen. All right, guys, you made it in early. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in early. Well, Friday night party again, a Friday night party, and it's an unusual one tonight, a little unusual. Signed myself into the psych ward. Well, it's called Delphi. All right. All right. So, welcome to the show for Friday, January 19th. It's been a while. We've been very busy behind the scenes, as all of you probably know. And we're very excited tonight because we have a special guest, a friend of the family, and that's Mr. J. He's coming on tonight to talk with us, and I'm really looking forward to it. Uh, K West says we got Cop J inbound tonight. Yeah, Cop J in the house, and Mr. Noe Ramos in the house. And yeah, the little guy and the dog are just relaxing. So we're all here. Thank goodness. Yeah. Well, let's see. You missed me. Well, thank you, Carol. I've missed you. We're going to be here more often. We were just all, we're all bound up with the pre-Supreme Court work we were doing. So now that we're past that, we can get back to a normal workflow with doing the shows because we got a lot done prior to that, and we're glad to see that things seem to go the right direction in that Mr. Richard Allen has a more fair chance of having a vigorous defense, which we want because we want a vigorous trial so that the outcome would be on a firm foundation. And that's what we're reaching for. So, with that done, the optimism continues and we can relax a bit and get back to doing fun stuff. So, bless them. Hope they're doing well. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so what else today? We got a break from the snow, and I was able to get out and do some things and take care of some things that needed to be taken care of. And now we made it to the evening, and so we're back home relaxing, and we're able to get together here. So without going much further, I'm going to go into our guests because I'm very happy to have them, and no reason for me to keep rambling on. We'll get back. We'll get back. Okay, so let's go on into bring them on, Mr. Noe and Mr. J. Let's find this setting here. All right, welcome in. Let's see if we can hear you.
Check. Test 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me?
Pretty good. Yep.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Thank you very much, Prof.
All right, welcome in. Welcome in, Jay.
Can you hear Jay?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Just perfect. So, yeah, Noah, you want to go ahead and introduce Jay for us and for anyone who hasn't seen him before? And you guys just speak up a little.
Okay, absolutely. Right. Well, first of all, I want to say hello to the chat. I see some of our, like you called them, family, our family to your channel. Hi, everybody. And, I'd like to introduce Jay. Of course, we know that he goes by Jay, and his first name is Joe, which is fine to expose at this moment. He's been a friend of mine for 2 years, just a little over 2 years or so. And I was at a meeting, and I ran into him, and he was a guest speaker at one of the meetings, and that's how I met Joe about 2 years ago. And since then, we've we see each other at least once or twice a week. And we really did not do anything in terms of like get to know each other outside of these meetings until this year, this past year. And obviously Jay is a popular figure here in Wabash. He's worked with Indiana State Police, and very popular as well in our community here in Wabash. He's got stories to tell. I'll let him take care of that. But I'm very proud and I'm very, very privileged to have Joe in my life. He's not only my friend, but he's also a great counselor to me, a great sponsor, and has been a great part of my recovery as well. So with that being said, I would like for him to take the floor now.
Okay. Thank you, Noe. And Prof, thank you for the invite to be here and to talk. I don't know if you just want me to start with a basic history, like who I am, or if you want me to do that right now, or what would you like me to introduce myself?
Just
Introduce myself.
introduction.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm Joe, or Jay, like in Men in Black. I am Agent J. But I am a veteran. I retired from the Air Force, a Master Sergeant, after 21 years. And I retired from the State Police, Master Trooper, after 25 years. And while I was a State Trooper, I worked undercover with the FBI for a while on a police and political corruption task force. I started my career up by Gary, Indiana, and I did that until 9/11. And 9/11, I got activated with the Air Guard for 2 years, and I've been to Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, flew missions over Iraq and Afghanistan and Libya. And then I retired from the Air Force in 2014. And I retired from the State Police in 2020. Besides working undercover with the FBI, I've worked in several presidential details, protection details. I went to Hurricane Katrina. The governor sent us down there to patrol the streets of Biloxi, Mississippi after the hurricane. And just numerous details, investigations, numerous investigations in my 25-year career. And I don't know what I'm missing. I'm sure I'm missing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
If you are ready, Prof, to take over with the one-on-one, I will move myself so you can start your interview, and then I'll come back when we're ready. Does that sound pretty good?
Yeah. Well, give us a minute, Noe.
Okay.
Yeah, that's quite impressive, Joe. Thank you for that brief introduction, and thank you for your service over the years in your various capacities. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And
Thank
and Noe, Jay, I was especially interested when Noe shared with me some of your videos together with the Spirit Box and going out to Delphi and your talks. Immediately, I was really interested in you, and I told Noe, hey, I would just love to get to talk to Joe someday. And then he gave me your number. We did talk, a little, so I'm so glad to have you tonight, because I think there's so interesting to talk to you, and I want our listeners to be able to enjoy some of that and get some insight into you and some of your thoughts, and just so thank you very much, and thanks Noe for bringing Joe to the table. It's just amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome, Prof.
Yeah.
Well, You want to go now, Noe, and
Yeah,
maybe we
you
can
guys.
get Joe in the center of the frame and let's go.
I'll be on the chat.
Uh,
Good luck, guys.
You're welcome. How's that?
Awesome.
I gotta stay there.
Yes. Yeah. So let's see. So the listeners are saying thank you for your service and interesting work, and
Okay,
that
yeah, I
was
can't
a
see
nice
it.
introduction. So
Thank you.
yeah.
Um, yeah, well, I've been interested in the paranormal for quite some time now. I watch about every ghost paranormal show there is. Um, I've been involved in paranormal stuff here, research and everything here in Wabash County. I've only lived here in Wabash since 2004. I'm originally from the Chicago area, so um, it's it's really opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. And um, the thing is like, I don't know if you want me to get into the Delphi stuff right now, or
Oh,
you want to talk
yeah,
about
sure. It's
other.
wherever, whatever's on your
Okay.
mind. We'll go from there.
Yeah, I was not directly involved in the investigations of those murders. It was I was working the road at the time, and so about after I knew a little bit about the murders and stuff. I worked mostly Miami counties and Wabash counties at the time, and I went to after the scene was all cleaned up and everything. I went out there because I wanted to see where the murders took place. I'd never been out there to that bridge before. I'd never been out to. I've driven past it on the way to Lafayette, but I'd never seen it. So after everything was all cleaned up, there was no more crime scene stuff going on um, in in that area. I went out there and parked my state police vehicle by there's a entrance. There's like a gate
Mhm.
where people used to pull up, drop people off, and then they would leave. It was just like a little parking area. But I don't think it was an official parking area because I believe it was private property at the time. So I didn't realize that. So I probably I probably broke some laws by parking my vehicle there. But I figured you're not going to tow a state police vehicle. Um, so I walked back there. I parked my vehicle and I just walked back there to the bridge. And there was nobody else out there. It was really quiet. It was a month after the murders were committed, so it would have been in March or something like that, sometime in March when I went out there. And just walking back to the bridge, I was just taking it in. I didn't know anything else about the scene, so I just went to the bridge to see what the bridge looked like. And because I'm involved in the paranormal, I really believe in those kind of experiences with spirit and stuff like that. I just wanted to see what I would feel, what I would see, what I would feel. Because I believe that there's like a residual energy that's left behind when there's a traumatic crime or a murder or a sudden death like that, that there's residual spirit left behind. And I thought, well, maybe it might still be soon enough or new enough where I might be able to pick up on some of that. Um, so I went back there, and on the way back, I didn't really see anything. I looked around the area. Um, I didn't really pick up on anything. So on the way back, in my in my mind, it's like to myself, I was just saying, like, talking to the girls, saying, "Give me a sign, tell me something, show me something, give me something that would help catch the people who did this to you." And I didn't get nothing. I didn't get anything, but I talked like that. I thought that all the way back to my car. And so when I got back to my state police car, I was getting ready to leave. I pulled out, and right across the street from that entrance is a brick house.
Mhm.
And I came to find out later that there's a butcher shop right behind there.
Mhm.
I didn't know it at the time because that's the first time I'd ever been there. So I pulled in that driveway there to turn around to go back to State Road 25. And um, as soon as I pulled my car in, this golf cart comes making like a beeline straight across the yard, right to me. And I thought, I don't know. I thought they were going to yell at me for parking on their property or something. But it was a lady, older, like, I don't know, middle aged, looked like a mom, and she was on this golf cart. She came over and started talking to me about, um, asked me if I was doing anything, if there was anything going on, and I said no. And basically, she just started talking about what was going on. They were moving somebody out of that house. I think it was their son. She said it was their son or something. They were moving out of the house, um, and that day, and she just kept talking, and she took me back. She wanted to take me back to the butcher shop to meet her husband, to talk to her husband. So I got in the golf cart with her and went back to the office of the butcher shop. And it was just really weird. It was just a really bizarre, because I went inside this office, and seriously, every spot on the wall, everything around on the ceiling, everything was all pictures of like half naked women or naked women, like all these pictures. I mean, literally, you couldn't look anywhere inside this office without seeing a picture like of a naked woman somewhere. And she acted like it was nothing, like brought me in uniform. It just kind of like, it didn't, because she looked like this church lady. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I thought for sure she would say something like, excuse the pictures, those are my sons, or something like that. Sorry about the photos. Not a word. And it was just, I did meet her husband, and it was just the whole time we were back there, all she talked about was um, her son, um, and she never said a word about the girls that were murdered. Not a word about them. And I'm like, nothing, like those poor girls, those poor little girls, nothing. Never said a word about them. And I just thought it was just, it didn't make any sense.
Mhm.
The whole conversation was just, didn't make any sense. It wasn't like, my gut instinct as a police officer, um, we kind of go by that, because if something doesn't seem right, it usually isn't right. And I learned to trust my gut, and I just didn't feel right. Something um, about the whole thing, the whole encounter. So after that, she took me back to my car, and I ended up leaving. But I had the strongest feeling like those girls had given me what I asked for. Like, maybe that was the sign. Maybe that is what, maybe they were trying to tell me something. I asked them for something to help with this. And it felt like that was it. It
Mhm.
wasn't what I expected. It wasn't, it caught me off guard. Um, but it just, so when I left, I went back eventually and went to, and our, our detectives, and told them what I experienced, because maybe it would help them or something like that. Um, I just had this feeling, and this is a feeling. This is not, factual investigation. It is just a feeling that I had in my gut. Um, it just seemed like that house, um, somebody could have watched from that house somebody being dropped off.
Mhm.
Whoever was in that house, or that house could have seen those girls being dropped off.
Mhm.
And and there's a butcher shop there. I'm like, it made me think, did anybody talk to these people? Because it was like, there's a butcher shop right across the street from the entrance to where these girls were killed. And I'm like, sometimes the things that are right in plain sight under our nose are the things that we miss. Because
Yeah.
we're looking for stuff that might be, it couldn't be that simple. You know what I mean? And that's the feeling I got when I left that place, was that just this had something to do with it. And that's why I went to our detectives and told them what I experienced, what happened, the feeling I had, and I don't know. I gave all the information to them, and I don't know what happened to it. I never heard anything back. And then after a while, I called the FBI hotline. They had a hotline there. And called and left a message on their hotline. The tip line, that was it, the FBI tip line. Because I hadn't heard anything back, and I said the same thing. Hey, I haven't heard anything back. Did anybody follow up on this? I have no idea. I never heard anything from it again. And that's what me and Noe went out with, because I'm really involved with paranormal stuff. I got a spirit box on my phone, and it works. I've had really, really good outcomes with that spirit box. I've had really, there's a mass grave in Wabash of about 700 people. And I went out there one time with my spirit box in the summertime, and it was the strongest one-on-one encounter with a spirit that I've ever had. Where I had the spirit box on, and I was having trouble finding that mass grave, and I had a Notre Dame hat ball cap on. I took it off to wipe the sweat off my brow, and as soon as I took my hat off to wipe the sweat off my brow, it came across, it said, "Nice hat." And I'm like, there's no way that could be made up. There's no way, unless that was direct communication from a spirit. Because to say "nice hat," I had just bought that hat at a Notre Dame game. It was a new hat. There's no way that could be made up, just chance putting words together, because nobody would know that I just took my hat off. So it was, yeah, so my spirit box, I took that because I know it was pretty reliable. I got the nice results from that spirit box. And then Noe and I went out there again, and he actually showed me where the bodies, the girls, were found and stuff. And that was amazing for me because I'd never been there. And we had that spirit box on the whole time and stuff, and we were getting contact, I believe, with the girls' spirits while we were there, and communicating things and stuff. And the nice thing about that spirit box is it records everything. It's like written words. It's all put on there, so you don't have to worry about writing anything down. It's all written down for you. And there was things that Noe noticed that were being said that I didn't connect anything with anything. So it was really nice having Noe there because of his knowledge about the scene and everything.
Yeah, and then you guys went out to Wilson Bridge also. Yeah.
Yeah, Wilson Bridge was I've been out there before. Like when I went out there that one time that I was just telling about, I took my because it's an old historic bridge, and I took my police vehicle out there and took a picture of it sitting on the bridge with my lights on. And when we were out there, we were picking up a lot of stuff. And the one thing was that cave that it came across. It said cave. And then I looked, and you could see it looked like a cave from where we were at. And instantly, I knew that was a place where the kids would go. And the
Mhm.
kids probably called it the cave because it looked like a cave. And what significance it had with anything, I don't know, or if they were just showing us where they used to go play or where the kids would go hang out and stuff like that. Because it was kind of offset and quiet and peaceful and everything. So
Mhm.
um, that was really neat to see those things. And so I go out there periodically with Noe, and we go to different sites and stuff. And the last few times that I've been out there, the last time I was out there, it just felt more peaceful.
Mhm.
Uh, but there was direct communication about what happened. Like um, the girls were definitely telling me things about what happened and mentioning names and stuff. Um, but it was hard for me because I just never heard anything back. It was strong enough where if I didn't really feel that this was something that should be looked into, I would never have gone to the detectives about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, you kind of develop skills as a police officer about if something doesn't feel right. You might not be able to put your finger on it right away, but it doesn't feel right. Um, and like I said, I wasn't involved in the investigation, so I just passed things on. But I'm hoping that sometime, maybe, that there might be something there that um, they're waiting that I'll find, that I'll discover. There's like I've been to scenes where this one trooper was killed in a car crash, and I went out the day after, same thing, because maybe there might be some residual energy left that you can pick up on. And I was walking the scene and everything, it had been cleaned, and I saw something shiny coming from the ground, and I looked down and I picked at it with my finger, and it was a pair of handcuffs that were still in the ground.
Mm.
That were his personal handcuffs, not department issue, but I ended up just giving them to his parents so that they would have that to remember him and stuff like that. So you never know what could still be laying there. What little piece, what little, what little thing of information that might be able to connect something.
Mhm. Yeah, and you so out at Wilson Bridge, that whole area there is also owned by the same family that owns the house, the Mears. It's all the Mears property there.
Yeah.
Um, and I find that pretty interesting. Um, your gut feeling here, plus
Mm-hmm.
I have a gut feeling about out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And it's a I'm trying to remember what I was gonna say. Um, no, but if you could just I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna make some kind of correlation there. Your battery's dying.
It is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Low power mode or something.
It's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Let me close it.
Okay.
Okay, let me try it.
Mm-hmm.
so when you so this day that you're speaking of, where you go out to the Mears lot and park, and then when you're
Mm-hmm.
turning around, you encounter the family. Uh, do you know about which date that was? I know you said it was in 2017.
Yeah, it was about a month, almost a month to the day
Mm-hmm.
that I was out there. And I was thinking about stuff. I sometimes things like that I don't know why, but I'm drawn to it. There's something pulling me towards it. There's something I'm that I'm supposed to see, or something I'm supposed to um, I don't know, supposed to do. So I've always wanted to go out there and take a look and stuff like that, but it just doesn't seem like um, oh, it's not plugged
Oh, it's not?
in. No, I'm sorry. I was looking at something else, but I'm kind of scatterbrained right now.
Okay.
But so you might have to help me stay on
Yeah,
track.
well, so I would say that, so we're talking pretty much early March of 2017.
Yeah.
Uh, Many things are still the same there. You got the weather, the leaves, the color of the trees. A lot of things are just going to be the same. The temperatures,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got the proximity to the time frame of the murders happening and all the energy surrounding that and all the searching. Then you had Ron Logan's place was searched at about that time. So it's like a buzz of activity and energy all bound up. It was very fresh in early March of 2017.
Well,
So
it
you
just
find
didn't
yourself
seem.
out there, and now you encounter these mirrors, and they're moving someone out.
Mm-hmm.
They're moving someone out in sort of a rushed fashion. The older lady, it's hitting your gut. Very odd that it's almost like misdirection. All we're talking about is this sun,
Yeah.
instead of talking about reality. Like we got, can't believe these two girls were killed right
Yeah.
here across the street from me. Yeah.
Yeah. And the pictures, the I've never seen that many naked pictures in an office before.
Were they all like centerfolds or
Yeah,
cutouts of magazines?
centerfolds, magazines. I mean, literally everywhere. I've
Mhm.
never seen anything like that before, and it's a butcher shop. I mean, with the method of the murders and stuff, I know that there was a meat packing place behind there, and I believe that there was investigations taken there. I mean, um, because of the method that was used to kill the girls, and
Yeah, and they were found bloodless, which is you didn't know at that time, but
mm-mm.
looking back, being found totally drained of blood is it's a very big deal there,
Yeah,
and the
if
no blood
somebody
at the
was
scene
like,
to speak
if
of.
somebody had used a knife or something to kill somebody, and right across the entrance from where they would be dropped off is a butcher shop
Hmm.
and a house that you could see. I mean, to me, that's obvious. Wouldn't you start? I would start with the obvious
Hmm.
and go from there. Um, but I don't know. I don't know if anybody was ever, if they ever even searched the place. But we're better to get rid of a murder weapon, a knife, than in a butcher shop.
Hmm.
It's just a lot of things just didn't make sense, but I couldn't do nothing about it. All I could do was pass the information along. Uh, I also had, when you look at that, where the scene, the murders, that bridge, you can't do that by yourself. There's no way that, in
Hmm.
my opinion, that one man could do that
Me
all.
either. Me either.
There's no, because how would you know when they're dropped off? I don't, it's almost like you would have to have a lookout, like
Hmm.
one person, one place, and a lookout say, hey, they just dropped the girls off, blah, blah, blah. And then you would have to have a lookout, because what if somebody else comes down the trail? There's no guarantees that somebody's not going to be walking down that trail,
Hmm.
even for the time of year. Like
And it's
every
broad
time,
daylight. That's what I noticed when I
yeah,
visited. It just struck me how ridiculous it seemed. Like broad daylight, wide open. It didn't feel
mm-hmm.
right. Like it would have been any decision anyone would have made. Like I'm going to do
Yeah,
this at this place at this time in the middle of the day.
yeah. And then how did they get across the river? That's the other thing. It's like, um, how do you corral? How would you corral two young girls by yourself across a river? I I don't know how you could do it. I can't even get my own daughters to do what I want them to do. Without, it's just there's a lot of like, I don't know, inconsistencies. There's just a lot of I would really have liked to known if um, anybody ever talked to anybody in that house.
At the mirrors, any of the mirrors.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not saying that they're guilty, but did anybody check?
Well, another thing, there's so many structures, as you may well have noticed, in that
Mhm.
whole area, there's several proper structures on their property there. Across the street, there were a couple old shed shacks, and further down, there's structures everywhere there.
Mhm. Yeah, and um, yeah, there's just a lot of inconsistencies, a lot of things that went against my gut feeling. And I've been involved in some serious investigations, murder investigations with the FBI, um, some pretty big, serious investigations and stuff. And sometimes I learned as a cop, you don't negate your gut.
Mhm.
It might be a hunch, but you follow up on those hunches. You don't ignore a hunch. You go it and if it's nothing, at least it's been cleared. You don't have to worry about it. It's a peace of mind kind of thing. Um, to ignore a hunch, that hunch might be what solves it. I don't know.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, but I was given a note for you to address Pitbull on chat.
Oh, I will. So,
Okay. All right.
at the time of March 17, how many years had you been a trooper in Indiana?
Hmm. Well, I retired in 2020. 2020 would have given me 25 years, and I retired 25 years in 2 days.
25 years. So,
Mm-hmm.
so let's say you're
Those
about
would have been 8.
22 years.
Yeah.
Uh, so you're not pulling up in there as a green first year or two trooper. You're 23 years in, and you're in full uniform.
Yes.
You have your hat,
Mm-hmm.
you have the whole nine, and the marked vehicle.
Yep.
And so, was it a car or an SUV? What type of vehicle?
It was actually a pickup truck.
It was a
Ram
marked pickup
1500, but it was clearly marked
with
with a
lights.
door shield and it had lights on the inside, but it was clearly a state police vehicle.
And how long do you think you sat there before you encountered this lady when you were going to leave?
Oh, and I didn't even sit there. I was pulled in, getting ready to throw it into reverse, and then she's making a beeline right
Oh,
across
I
the
guess I
yard.
meant to say, how long was your truck parked there while you were
Oh,
doing otherwise?
probably about an hour, somewhere around there.
So I have the feeling they noticed your vehicle there and started to feel uncomfortable, and then
Hmm.
maybe when you turned in, for whatever reason, she wanted to encounter you then and maybe
Hmm.
see what you were up to, I guess. But
Hmm.
yeah, so when you go into this butcher shop office, you have your hat on, the full uniform. She
Hmm.
doesn't know whether you're there officially on official business or not.
Nope. And I don't. I try not to. I let people talk.
Yeah.
Because it's like you don't. If they want to talk, let them talk because they might say something. So I really didn't say anything of what I was doing there. They just wanted me to come back to the. It's like they were showing me the butcher shop, and I'm like, it's just like really bizarre. For a little bit there, I actually felt for my own safety because I was by myself and I'm being brought back to this butcher shop and I'm human and there's like I'm going back into something that I have no idea what I'm going into. And so that concerned me a little bit. It made me uneasy because of being in a butcher shop across the street from where two vicious murders took place. And I don't know who's in there. I have no idea. Nobody even knows I'm there because I'm just doing this. I think I was going to the Lafayette Post on the way. Like this was a stop after I went to the Lafayette Post. I was heading back or something. So nobody even really knew. It wasn't an official investigation. I just wanted to see where these took place, where these murders. So it just made me feel really uncomfortable. Why are they taking me back to this butcher shop?
Mhm.
So,
In the
yeah,
where you were you just only in the foyer or the front office, so you didn't
hmm
actually go into the place where
no,
there would have been implements and tables and that sort of stuff?
no, just right there in the office. And like I
Okay.
said, it was just really bizarre. The with the it was like the lack of um, things was it seemed pretty obvious. It was like, um, why are you trying to point me away from something?
Hmm.
You know, you're trying to take me away from the obvious. You know, and like the naked pictures. If that was me, I would be apologizing. I would be like, "Hey, I'm sorry about that," but it's to not even notice it. It just seemed bizarre. And why would you take me to a butcher shop when there's two young girls that were heinously killed?
Hmm.
And you're going to take me back to the butcher shop? Why would you do that? And not one word about the girls. Not one word about the girls. Just talked about her son. Um, and I don't remember if she said his name, but he was staying there for a little while. This son or whatever, and they said they were moving stuff out for an auction or an estate sale or something like that. But um, there was somebody living there at the time, and I'm like, okay, here's somebody living across the street from the entrance. There's a butcher shop there. You have a clear view of everything that's going on at that park. Um,
It's so close to everything.
I know it's so obvious. It's almost like, um, how could you like, uh, how could you overlook that? But sometimes you're looking for things that are, you might know these people. Maybe they're respected members of the community, or I believe maybe their son was a firefighter. I think, and I'm not sure if she said he was actually on the search for the girls. And I know she was talking about how distraught he was afterwards when they found the girls. I can't remember. It's been too long ago whether she said that he was on the actual search or not. But I do remember that he was on the fire department, the local fire department there. And it just there's a lot of things that don't make any sense with this investigation.
Hmm.
With the whole, it's not my call, but I remember Doug Carter in one of the press conferences um, said that he could be talking to the murderer right now.
Hmm.
Like the murderer could be right here in this room.
Hmm.
And it was just like to me, that was a red flag.
Hmm.
Why would you say that?
Very odd. Very odd.
Yeah, and it was on TV. I remember him saying that. And I'm not discrediting him in any way because I like the guy. He's a nice guy. But it was the suspect there? Was uh, was he there? Did they know? Could they have been talking to that guy right then and there
Hmm.
by saying that? That's what it meant to me.
Hmm.
Why would you even say that? Where is the killer? Is the killer there? And there's all kinds of speculation and stuff like that. I know, but this was my experience. This was my experience, and with the spirit box and everything, it adds to that. And like I said, the last time I went out there, the feeling that I got was more of a peaceful.
Hmm.
Like the girls were at peace. It wasn't the uh, traumatic feeling the pain that I felt the first time I was out there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember this? Did this woman ask you? Did she ever ask you why you were there? Do you recall
No,
that?
no,
And you said you spoke to her husband or another older
yeah,
gentleman.
yeah.
Do you remember the nature of that conversation at all?
No, it was just nothing. It was almost like nothing happened. It
Yeah.
was just like another day. I mean, if that happened across the street from my house, I'd be devastated. I would
Mhm.
be um, distraught. I would be so empathetic towards those girls.
Well, I would think also you have a state police officer with a full uniform on in front of you in a marked vehicle, and I would think, well, I would really want to talk about it, because
Yeah.
here's like a law enforcement official, that's
Mm-hmm.
higher ranking. I would definitely I'd be interested in what he had to say about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ah,
Or did you find anything? Are there any updates? Are there have
mhm.
they any other clues or and because this was fresh.
Yeah,
This
very.
is only a month later. This
Mhm.
is not 2 years or 7 years or this is like 1 month. 1 month. I would be just God, I'd be scared that the killer's still out there.
Mhm.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
live there, and he could be right here. It's
I
like my
know.
neighborhood.
That's why it really felt weird when I was in there or going back there because I'm like, I'm doing something that is not safe. I'm doing something that
Mhm.
um, I don't know what I'm walking into. It could, and that's I don't know. I don't know. It was just an awkward feeling, and not like I said when I went um, and I risked my reputation when I go to the detectives to talk about stuff like this because to a lot of people this is kind of like woo woo stuff, like
Mhm.
yeah, right, and they'll joke about it or laugh about it when I'm not there. So, I'm putting myself, my opinion, my reputation at risk by going and talking about this stuff to um, our detectives. But I felt strongly enough about it that I did. I didn't want that to go because if that was a sign, if that was given to me for a reason, I didn't want that to go unnoticed.
Yeah. So tell me about that. What levels, what entities and levels and process did you go through to push that towards the detectives and FBI or however you did it?
Well, it was just one of our chief detectives, one of our head detectives. I just sat down with him pretty casually because we all know each other. It's a small post, and just told him what I experienced, what I was exactly what I told you.
Hmm.
I told him the same thing, and they acted like it was like that they were going to pass that along to the FBI. And but I never heard anything back from it. So whether it did get passed along, I don't know. I don't know. It's a big question. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't. Like I said, I didn't really work. I didn't work anything with that investigation. So I just passed it along. Never heard anything back. So then I called the tip line, left a message on the tip line, and that's the thing that bothered me too. Because when this happened, they sent us out to follow up on all these tips. We couldn't let a tip go on without following it up because what if that was it? You know? So we couldn't just blow off a tip. So they sent troopers out with detectives to follow up on all these tips to either see if they were legit, if they had something, or just to scratch it off the list. Um, so for I followed up on tips that turned out to be nothing. So
Hmm.
to not hear back from like the FBI tip line, from anybody, it just made me feel like you should have followed up on this. I would have followed up on it if somebody had called that in or called something in. Because how do you know you're not dealing with something that's going to pan out to be a break in that case?
Mhm.
Because as far as I knew, it wasn't going anywhere at the time. But I don't know that for a fact, so I can't speak on stuff that I totally don't know about. But they should have followed up. They should have gotten back with me, especially being a state trooper and passing that information along. I've worked as a detective. I worked undercover with the FBI on big cases where I'd gotten um, um, what do you call it? Like letters of commendation from the director of the FBI, Robert Mueller, for the investigations on some of these cases that we worked. So I have a little bit of cred.
Mhm.
So, you'd think somebody would have at least, humored me and followed up on it or gone out there with me. Hey, Joe, why don't you come out there with us and stuff?
Or maybe just even just to just contact you would be
Yeah.
appropriate.
Hey, we followed up on that and it turned out to be nothing.
Mhm.
Okay, thanks for doing that. That's all that had to be done, but I never heard back from anybody.
Wow.
Mm.
Well, I'm very interested in the Wilson Bridge area. Would you tell me some more about your feelings out there when you went out there? The Did you go once or twice out to that area?
Um, we just went one time.
Just once.
We crossed the bridge, came back, got out. We parked there was like a little gravel area, parked the vehicle, and Noe and I got out and started walking. Um, there was actually too, there was like a firing range set up down there, like a target. And it looked like it had been there for quite a while, but it just seemed like well, it's probably not related at all, but it just seemed like an odd place to put a firing range or to go practice that you're shooting your shotgun or something. And there was still empty shotgun shells laying around. And it had been there for a while because the wood that was holding the target had rotted and fallen down. And you could see where the BBs and all the shotgun pellets were going into the tree. Um, but there's no houses around there. And these are all houses out in the country. So why, if you live out in the middle of nowhere, you can just shoot out your backyard. You don't need to go someplace to shoot. So why there? Why would you have to set up a target right next to that river? And if you lived out there in the country already, and if you didn't live out there, why would you pick that spot?
Well, I also thought it was unsafe, the way that it was positioned so that if
Mhm,
you miss the target, the projectiles go into the woods there.
mhm.
It's not a
Or
safe backdrop for a
or
firing range.
up towards the road even. It could have gone towards the road. I don't know.
Mhm.
But we walked from there um, and walked to the site. It was a much easier way to get, I think it was, yeah, get back to where the girls were. But again, with the terrain and the trees, there's no way you're going to be able to park your car up there on the road and drag somebody down through with the terrain, the hills, the bushes, the trees, the stumps, it was hard enough just walking there without anything. And I could not, you're not gonna do that, A, because somebody can see your vehicle on the road. And what's gonna happen if you're pulling somebody out of your van or whatever as they're driving by? You're not gonna do that because you could get caught. You're gonna go someplace, um, it just felt like whatever was done right there. Because you're not gonna, you wouldn't, you don't want attention.
Mhm.
And and yeah, and so we walked to the site, um, and that's when it came onto the spirit box, the cave, and that's when we found the cave, and there was other things that were on there too about, they were saying that they were right next to me, that were gonna make a noise so that I could hear them or know that they were there, that they saw the torture, that, that's what came across the spirit box, that maybe one of them saw what was happening to the other girl. And just, I can't remember off the top of my head what the spirit box was, what kind of information I was getting.
Yeah, I remember it well. I went back and listened, and I think on both the sessions, it just seems very strong. It seems very strong that they're coming across in some way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, and I thought it was kind of weird. I was talking to Noe about this. It's like shortly after, I don't know if it was the 1 year anniversary, but there was a Dr. Phil episode about Delphi. And the bio granddad, I think it was, it's where the girls spent the night before they were killed. They spent the night at their grandparents' or their grandfather's house. And, the grandfather looked exactly like the sketch that was made. I mean, looked exactly like him.
mhm.
And I'm like, did anybody notice the resemblance between that sketch and the grandpa? I mean, I'm not trying to insinuate anything, but it's just look at it. Watch that Dr. Phil episode, about the Delphi, because the grandparents are there. Um, it, it was just an uncanny. Um, and so I thought about that too, and like, um, the girls, like, why wouldn't they run? What if they knew? What if they knew who it was? What if they thought it was somebody they would trust? I mean, I was thinking about that. And girls would scream, they would run, turn and go. Um, why would they be recording him? Or, I know it was in the background of their photos and stuff like that, but um, you don't hear any screams. Like when that whole video, the tape where he says down the hill, I don't know what else was recorded. Were they screaming? Or did they know the person? I don't know.
Oh.
And how do you get somebody to, how do you corral two girls? That's the thing.
That's what gets me. That's what gets me. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you corral two girls? I know that I really feel there was more than one person. There had to be a lookout, and there had somebody on the bridge. Oh, I got, no, he gave me the list of the things that were on the spirit box, transcripts and
There's
stuff.
3 screenshots there to the right, I think.
But you looked at them and stuff like that. They even asked what that box was that I was holding.
Yeah, I noticed. Yeah.
You know, be careful what you wish for. And then they said, I remember you from the last time I was out there and stuff. These are direct communications that I'm getting. And the one where it says cave, it says I'm afraid. Where is it? And it says you've been before. I'm trying to get this up. What's the fond memories here? That's what it said. Right after it said cave. Just things that were just, you filter out the things that don't make any sense, but then you look at the ones that I have. This is still the same thing that I had.
Slide it over.
Huh? This way?
The other one.
Oh, okay.
You can go either way.
Recording.
The other one, yeah.
Okay.
I think there's
I
3
remember
3
you.
screens.
We love talking. This is great. And it said my neck. It said my
Yeah.
neck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, to me, that's like, well, yeah, they were, their necks, they're saying that that's where they were killed. Well, they were killed on their neck. Just the stuff that they were relating to me. I really strongly believe it. Not everybody's going to believe in it, but I do. I've been at other scenes of fatal crashes where troopers were killed, and I can still see some of what happened. I can see there's like remnants of it that are still there. I've been to a fatal crash before where this woman hit, she was drunk at night and hit a semi head on and was just demolished into pieces. And I could feel her spirit still there, like lost. She didn't know what happened. Like she, where am I? What happened? And to me, that's real. And so I talk to him. I say, hey, you died. You were in a car crash. Because, you know, I don't know everything. I'm not God. I'm not, how do I know that this stuff doesn't exist? How do I know? I could, a trooper that was killed in a car crash, I could see it. I could see it after the next day when I went out and I found those handcuffs. I could still see like what happened was still there. It was still fresh. But we don't take those into account. We don't take those things into account like as serious investigative tools. But it brings up a hunch, you follow up the hunch.
And that's how it ties into the toolbox, you know, it's part of the toolbox. It's just it's a more subtle and it's difficult. It's a difficult talent and language. Yeah. Well, thank you, Joe. That is amazing. All of that. It's a lot.
Oh, and that,
like
if you don't mind me mentioning, I read on Allie's channel about Stephanie Thompson in that fire. She was a good friend of mine that I worked with on the state police. And she was an Army veteran, and I was really shocked when I found out how she had died and everything. And I'm just like, and it made me, you know, I'm a cop. There's things that I'm gonna think of right away, like who did this? How did this? She was an Army veteran, and I can't believe that she wouldn't hear that fire alarm, that she wouldn't hear those smoke detectors for cops.
Right away.
Yeah, I hear everything out there, and I've been retired for 3 years, and I still have those skills. I still have those things. They're not going to leave you. I hear a sound of a car going by my house late at night that I don't recognize. I'm like, I think, what are they doing out there? Who is that? Where are they going? And I can't imagine her sleeping through that. I just was, and again, I don't know what kind of investigation was done as far as that, who the suspects, if there even was an investigation. I don't know. If it was left up to the fire marshals. I mean, it burned to the ground. I don't know.
Extreme red flags for me with it. And
and that was in town. It's in Monticello. How does a house like that burn to the ground in town? I don't know. Hey, there's my train. I gotta go. I gotta hop the cars. I'm a hobo now.
Hey, Noah, you want to join us for the Q&A? You ready to get into a Q&A with? Let's check out the chat. All right, let's do it. Let me check out the chat. I'm gonna backtrack. Anyone?
Yeah, thank you.
I
Thank
apologize.
you, Rob.
Well, let's do this.
Can I say something real quick? I've been keeping up with the chat. It's been a great chat, an amazing group, and let's address them. They deserve to be addressed. Everybody, Digital, Ali, Mr. Pitbull, Diamond, absolutely.
Yeah, let me go back and I'll go back pretty far, so we'll just try to go in order.
Okay.
But thank you again, Noe, for bringing Jay tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jay, for accepting.
Yeah, thanks for the invite, and I appreciate you letting me be here and tell my story. So thank you.
All right, let's see what we got. Let's see, we got, there's a lot of chat. Okay, here we go. All right. All right, Louise, welcome in. Louise is saying hi. Digital, welcome in. Digital, nobody, nothing, welcome in. Unsolved crimes uncovered, welcome in. Marcel, welcome in. Four Pits, welcome in. All you guys who coming in, who came in after we got started, thank you so much for joining. And if I missed you, I'm sorry. We'll hopefully catch you here. Let's take some questions. Let's see if we got any. Let's see. Unsolved Crimes Uncovered says, I'm pretty sure they know who is responsible for this, or they're too ignorant to see what's right in front of them. Yeah, I believe I'm pretty confident that they do know who is responsible for this, and all parties involved, but, you know, they're keeping everything completely sealed up and close to the vest, so we know nothing. Welcome in, Jane Lane. Okay. Let's see, we got Four Pits says the spirit box should be used more out there. Yeah, I agree. I'd love to see you guys go several more times.
I believe we've discussed that. Obviously, right now it's not something that's possible, but we have discussed that we want to go back.
Mhm. Yes, and I'm gonna go to Stephanie's house with my spirit box and
Oh, yeah,
sit there
yeah.
for a minute, see if she'll say something to me. 'Cause she was a
Noe,
good
will you
friend.
go with him when he goes out there?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
If he
I wanna
invites me,
see it.
yeah, I should be able to travel.
Mhm.
Now, I want to, you know that we're working on a project with Crying to Sleep with Kishti. You know that. I don't think I've talked to you about it, but we're doing a production for the anniversary, which is next month. And I may go out there. If the weather is fair, I may go out there. I may not cross over the rail and walk on the old bridge and cross the creek. I might not do all that, but at least go to the area and record some, if the weather permits, for their anniversary, and join in with Kishti and work on the production that we're doing for the girls.
Let's see. Everyone, please hit the thumbs up. Everyone is saying this in the chat. Yeah, please hit the thumbs up. Four Pit says you could always get a case of beer on Sunday at the butcher shop. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
Case
that
of
was
beer.
a couple of the statements that caught my attention while I was sitting over there following the chat. I actually made me bring a note to Jay, because we were discussing the mirrors, and we were discussing his experience there, and I asked Mr. Pitbull if he had ever been there or spent time around the area at the mirrors, and he came up with, we used to go buy Sunday beer. If people who don't know about Indiana was a dry state on Sundays. No alcohol was sold on Sundays. They just started a few years ago where you can now buy alcohol on Sundays. And well, they had these bootleg houses. I remember in Goshen, when I lived in Goshen, one of my co-workers, his mom used to sell beer on Sundays. So we'd go there and buy beer. So kind of caught my attention when Mr. Pitbull mentioned that the butcher shop was a place where you could go buy
So
alcohol.
here's
on
what I
Sundays.
take from that, though. So there's people in and out of there all the time,
Mhm.
is what I would gather. If the
Yeah,
locals are going there to
I've
buy
also
beer, yeah, traffic.
I've also been told, someone that we speak to, that the Mears barn was a party place. I don't know what. I mean, I've talked to her specifically about it, but the historic farm, the one in the back, the bigger one, there used to be some kind of partying activity going on, which kind of goes with the in and out traffic, buying beer. Kind of
So,
elaborate that.
so Fort Pitts says I camped the bottoms of mirrors a few times where you filmed. So, yeah, Fort Pitts was saying that they used to camp out there in that open field down there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe I'll, Fort Pitts, say some more about that. I'll try to find it in a minute and bring it up. But we're interested in that. Huh?
We kind of interact with the people on chat, and we know, just so Jay knows, Fort Pitt is local from Carroll County.
Okay.
Yeah, he lives in the area. He grew up in Carroll, in Delphi.
Okay.
I believe Delphi, correct me if I'm mistaken, but so he grew up there. He knows the Mears farm, the area.
Okay.
That's
So he knows that area where that little
Mr.
little
Pitt
range was and stuff, where they would target shoot.
Yeah, so he's saying that. What did he say there? That now that they used to
Camp.
campground. Yeah, camp.
Mhm.
It
I'd
was
like
a
to
nice
know more
flat
about that
lot.
from him. Okay, let's see. Sunflower Soul says they never walked across that water by foot. Cold water isn't something two teen children on a cold winter's day are going to navigate without a lot of fuss.
Mhm.
Okay. Fort Pitt says no mirrors could ever do any wrong in Carroll County.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, let's see. Lee Cordell, welcome in, says, just getting in late on another live tonight. Hello, all. And Fort Pitt says, if I can answer anything, I will. Well, thanks, Fort Pitt. Let's go with the camping first. Yeah. All right, I'm just scrolling down, trying to find questions.
I found a question for Jay, if you don't mind me.
Yeah, what is it? I'll try to find it.
Jay Rabbit is asking if he shared his spirit box words from the crime scene, and I'm assuming he's referring to law enforcement.
No, this was the spirit box I hadn't used till we went out there.
Okay.
So it wasn't. I didn't have the spirit box when I first encountered the
Mears.
family, the Mears. Yeah. So that was just a really strong feeling that I had.
Yeah.
That the girls were trying to tell me something. They were showing me something because I asked them to. I asked them to show me something, tell me something, and I honestly feel that as soon as my feet left that property, I got that was my sign. That's.
Do you got one, Prof?
Oh, I'm
Diamonds.
still reading through them. I'm trying to not miss many, but welcome in
Okay,
everyone
I'll
who came
address
in.
Diamond
Diamond
Eyes.
Eyes. I see a few
Diamond
new
Eyes.
people. Okay.
The lady trooper in the fire, who was her ex-husband?
Who was it?
Mm-hmm. Do you
I
know?
don't know. I don't know
The-
her ex-husband.
The lady in the troop in the fire.
No.
So
I don't know her ex-husband. I only know that her husband was the judge.
So she had a husband.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know if she was.
You don't know
married
that
to
she had.
While I look for some more questions, Jay, tell us about the old CPS building. You said that you used to. Is it true that you used to park out there back when that was a smaller highway?
Yeah. Well, even when it was a newer highway, because when it was the smaller highway, I don't think it went by there. It was real. The old State Road 25 was real windy and curvy, and just like when I would go back and forth between the Peru Post and Lafayette, the new State Road 25 is basically like interstate. So I would stop at that building and just sit there in the parking lot. There was nobody in it. It was closed up. I would just sit there and do paperwork or something.
Did you ever clock any speeders?
No, not there. No.
Not there.
Mm-mm. Just sit there and do paperwork.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
At that time, was that building abandoned by then and out of use,
Yeah.
as far as you know?
Yeah, it wasn't being used at the time. I
How
don't even think
often,
it's
how
there
many
anymore.
times do you think you sat there?
I don't know, maybe a handful of times, not that many.
Never saw anyone coming or going, sneaking in or out, any evidence of that?
No, no, not at all. That's the thing. For those murders, you have to have a lookout. You would have to, because anybody's going to be noticed down there. There's just one way in, one way out. There's nowhere to park without being noticed. There's no way you can park by the Wilson Bridge or by that house, the Mears. You can't do any of that without being noticed. The cemetery, somebody's going to see you. So you had to have a lookout that would be, maybe he wasn't directly involved in the murders themselves, but somebody that's like, hey, somebody's coming down the path. You know, it's like who robs a bank without a lookout? It's like you got to have a getaway car. You got to have somebody that's watching to make sure that nobody's walking down that trail that's going to catch you. You know, that you can warn the person and say, hey, here comes somebody walking their dog or something.
Mr. Pitbull has a question, and I don't know if you'll be able to answer it, but he's asking, does Jay think that Richard Allen is the guy? Richard Allen is the guy that's arrested now.
I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of questions. It's like I just I had the gut feeling that that wasn't the only person. There was more than one person there. It's almost like somebody killed the girls, and then somebody came to like, oh my God, what did you do? And then tries to dress the girls. Um, it was like, why did one of the girls had the other girl's clothes on?
Yeah.
It was almost like, let's hurry up and get some clothes on them. That's almost like a motherly instinct, kind of. We can't just leave them laying out here like that. Try to like, oh my God, little Jimmy, what did you do? It's like, that's the feeling I got. Is like, oh my God, what did I do? No, I don't know. I don't think somebody acted alone. It was not a lone wolf. It was just too many. Why didn't the girls run? Um, did anybody look at the sketch and look at uh, the grandfather? I don't know. It was just, and it's just kind of weird that I don't know. There's a lot of unknowns, and it just aren't they being more forthcoming with information about the crime? At this point in the game, what do you have to lose as far as the investigation goes? You know, as far as releasing facts, releasing stuff, you don't have to show pictures of this girls, but at least maybe release might help solve the crime.
Hey, Fort Pitt says the pull-off between Mears and Wilson's Bridge, where you can go down in the bottoms. We used to have small parties in high school down there. And later in life, we would camp down there and fish the creek.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, Fort Pitt, you ever hear of them cooking meth out there? In that same spot, Pitts, you ever hear them cooking out there? In them woods? All right. Let's see.
And if you killed somebody, why would you drag them to another location?
Why the moving of bodies? We personally, I feel they were moved more than once. I feel they were moved more than once. Is my deal.
I don't know. I think like a criminal. Like, am I gonna chance moving a body? Why wouldn't I just leave them where they lay? You don't want to make it more difficult. The more you do, the more chance you have of getting caught. Um, so like moving bodies from one place to another, you're really taking a chance of getting caught.
And if
Well,
that,
that's what doesn't make sense in the first place, that it was done at all, because they end up bloodless and clean for the
Mhm.
most part, down in a difficult place to reach.
and if that indeed is the case, like you said, think like a criminal, it kind of tells you that these were inexperienced criminals, or they were not criminals who come if they moved the bodies that much.
Yeah, why would you?
Hmm. Clean people
I
might
would
have been
be,
involved doing this.
yeah, I would be scared to death of getting caught because people walk down that trail. You're taking a big chance. Um, and so,
I mean, the only thing I could see is late at night and you have a bunch of lookouts, more than one lookout. You have a couple lookouts late at night, maybe,
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
That could be late at night, not during the day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Fort Pitt says there was always talk of cooking out there, but more on Allball's property in a shack, I always heard. Oh yeah, Pitts, would you tell us, or would you send, you need to get me where that is. Oh, there you go. There he says it's next to Weber towards town. I get you. Okay. Thank you, Fort Pitts.
Okay.
All right. That was quick. He caught it before I could ask.
Yeah, Pitbull's on it tonight. I like.
Yeah, so the word of cooking out there, the word of cooking out there, it's a party spot, camping spot, cooking dope spot,
Mhm.
probably kids drinking, underage kids drinking. It's nice down there.
Yeah, it is.
It's very nice down there, and I would be shooting too if I'm out there partying and it's cool to do, and I'd bring the guns, have fun with the guns out there too.
Mhm.
I could see the whole scenario down there. I can visualize it.
Mhm.
But I'm positive it's different these days. I would think after all this heat, I think all of that would have dried right up real quick.
Mhm. Yeah, probably so.
All right, let's see what we got. We got some more. All right. Okay, for Lisa Marie says, Fort Pitts, was there any sort of training on that property? Yeah, was there like range? Were they range training or maybe
No.
like survival
Not
training out there?
this looked just like it was kids or somebody out there just target shooting. It didn't look like anything formal or anything like that. It just looked like you said, kids probably out there just having a good time.
John Albo and Ashley stole Ron Logan's guns. John Albo's parents' property. Wow. Oh, that's a new one to me.
Repeat that, Prof.
Fort Pitt says John and Ashley stole Ron Logan's gun.
Oh.
Guns. Do you mean which Ashley? Fort Pitts.
Did she have something to do with Garrett?
So yeah, you guys, when is the next? What's the next goal for you guys? You're gonna go out to where do you think you're gonna go out to next and do any nosing
Around the
around?
anniversary would be good.
Yeah, around the anniversary would be good. I plan to. It's all gonna depend on the weather. Anniversary time, and if the weather's not decent, then I'm thinking March, April.
And I've got I want to try doing EVPs, like with the digital recorder as well as the spirit box. Just sometimes you can record stuff on that digital recorder that you can't hear with your ears. So it'd be nice to have that going too as well, see if we can actually hear a voice.
Yeah,
Mhm.
perfect.
Yeah, so that'd be it, probably around the anniversary. And like I said, I really want to go out there to Stephanie's house and see, because she was a good friend. She was a good person.
Yeah, actually, I read one of Ali's comments was asking you if you would do that at Stephanie's house.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, tell us about Stephanie if you don't. Would you mind telling us about your friend Stephanie? And
Well, I knew her as a young troop when she first came on, and she was an Army veteran, which was really cool because we'd always, like every Veterans Day, we'd like post pictures of ourselves in our Army or Air Force gear, um, and I just followed her career. Um, I'd see her at the Lafayette Post. I don't know, she was just always an easy person to talk to. A really good person, non-judgmental, just very easygoing person. And I believe before she became a polygraph person, I think she worked crime scenes. I think she was a CSI and went from that to polygraph because there was a lot of demands as a CSI because you got to respond to any agency's request for help or big crime scenes, and you get called out a lot. So the polygraph job was nice because it was a Monday through Friday, weekends and holidays off. You know, it was more stable for a family life and stuff.
Prof, do you have recollection of who were some of the individuals that Stephanie conducted the polygraph test on? Was it Kagan Klein and Tony or other individuals? I don't remember.
I'm sure someone in the chat will know the whole list, but
I think Elvis Fields, perhaps, because that was her role, wasn't it?
yeah, I think most of them. I mean, the important ones. That's a very concerning thing to me. If we're just going to put it all on the table and be honest, most concerning thing is that she did some very crucial polygraphs related to the Delphi murders, and how does that, that would be a lot of privileged information that she would have,
Yeah.
I'm very sorry to hear about her death, Joe.
Yeah, it was a real shock because I'm like, how the heck? As a state trooper, former Army, how the hell do you sleep through those fire alarms going off, the smoke detectors? Stuff happens, but I just it was just really hard to believe that she would sleep through something like that or not be able to get out. That house burned so fast. It burned to the ground. I've seen fires like that houses out in the country, with volunteers. It takes a while to get out there and stuff like that. But this was in Monticello, and it burned like that. I don't know. Yeah, it's just, it was a shock. It was a shock to me. So, and I look forward to going out there. I haven't been out there since the time. I don't know if it's even still there or if it's just been bulldozed or whatever, but I'd still like to make contact with her.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? Yeah.
Prof, can you check your text from my alt channel? On my alt phone number?
Yeah, it's time for this retired trooper to go home.
Okay.
I'm ready to turn into a pumpkin if I don't.
All right, let's see.
Or I might have to have another cup of coffee at night.
We got coffee, bro.
So I want to be on Allie's channel next.
There we go, Allie. You got a challenge. And I put you guys in contact. Allie, if you're still there, feel free to contact Joe, Allie, and she's very interested in and admires your channel.
Yeah, after I go out to Stephanie's house.
Yeah, that would be a
That'd
good
be
one.
cool, wouldn't it? And the anniversary, can't forget that.
Yeah. So,
Anyways,
any last
any last
thoughts or
requests?
anything? before
Well,
I
no,
put
thank
this
you guys
paper
for
to
coming.
bed?
I know you got to run. Thank you so much. The chat says thank you, and we'll monitor the comments, and if there's any that are good, I know Noe will send it over to you,
Yeah,
Joe.
that'd be
And thanks
great.
a lot. We hope to have you back again and talk some more.
That'd be
Maybe after you
nice.
do some visits.
Mhm.
Anytime.
Well, thank you, Prof, and thank you, Shad. Good night to everybody.
Good
All right. Good
night.
night, guys.
Peace.
All right. Thank you so much to Joe and Noe for coming on tonight and sharing with us some of their perspective, their thoughts and feelings, and I just really love so much both their videos or the several videos of them going out and doing some walking around out there in Delphi. And I do hope he gets to Stephanie Thompson's and other places. I think it would be great. It's just so interesting. Everyone in the chat, thank you so much. Please hit the like before you leave tonight. French, thanks for coming in. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. Mike, everyone, if I missed you, I apologize for missing you. We're going to keep it a short show tonight, and we will be back sooner than later. And so please leave comments. If you're watching the replay, leave comments. If you'd like to support their memberships and buy me a coffees and those sorts of things for support pathways, I appreciate all the support. And we will be back very soon. And before I leave, I guess I should say that it's a great speed bump to get over right now. Okay, so we should all be celebrating in some way because we did get over a speed bump yesterday with the Supreme Court of Indiana, and so now hopefully we're on the other side of that speed bump. So things will progress, and we can get back to a normal life again. So we can get back to a normal way forward, and in anticipation of going to trial with Mr. Richard Allen. But yeah, so I just wanted to acknowledge that we're at a good place. I'm really glad that we got over this hurdle of January 18th. And so until next time, we'll talk again. Lee Cordell, thank you. Kay West, thank you. Diamond Eyes, thank you. And everyone else, thank you so much. Amy, thank you. We will catch you on the other side. All right, don't get bored. I'll leave the chat on for a moment.